Okay. Wow. What a year. What a year we've had. I should have like made a whole Reddit for this, but I didn't. There's probably not much to go over. What a year. We did Vivance. We went on adventures. I've basically completely omitted gaming content from my content. My personal life has been a lot more firewalled from my online stuff, which I think is a consequence of probably the Vivance giving me less of an appetite for crazy dramatic people, and also not doing red pill stuff as much. Like the style of content is not having as much personal life bleed over because it's just not, it doesn't fit into the content as well, which is good. I'm trying to think what other big, went on some trips, got some stuff scheduled, made some friends. Yeah, a lot going on. I think that for, can you elaborate on the stuff drama? There's like a whole like criminal thing in the background that I'm working on for that. So I might talk about that in a few months maybe, but that's like a whole other thing that's in the works, but it's actually stuff I can't talk about, not like meme shit. For once, especially several months, and we'll revisit that. Yeah, fuck that. Why does Vivance make your personal life less dramatic? I think I had things that were, I think I've described it before, like the Death Note shit, like interacting with people who are like trying to destroy my life and like going back and forth with like really emotionally manipulative or abusive people. It was just like very exciting to me, I guess. I don't know, it was like very fun. And now I just don't have like as much of an appetite for it. I'd rather just like read or research or work on business related stuff. So I think, yeah, I think I just don't have as much the appetite for it, I guess. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Is drama content dead forever? I mean, like I can cover other people's drama stuff. I don't know. I just don't think I have the appetite as much anymore to be personally involved with it. Like now it feels like when I see stuff like that, I just kind of like get bored of it and I just kind of like move on. Cause it's like, what am I gonna, I don't know. It just feels like less fulfilling, I guess, than deep diving and moving into other stuff. Do you feel fulfilled by your current content? A little bit. I've had to step back and do a lot of like reanalyzing over like the political environment, like what's worth digging into, how do I feel about my engagement with things. One thing that I've mentioned that took me a long time, like I think for a couple months to sort through, has to do with like the level of depth in terms of dealing with people. Like, hold on, these are vague examples. The pie charts, the wonderful pie charts. I think in my mind, I'm thinking that like my preferred style of like debate is probably like some small percentage has to do with the rhetorical effectiveness of presenting some type of information, and then like the factual matter of what we're talking about. And it feels like this is basically completely flipped. This is very boring to me. I really don't enjoy this from a information perspective. Like it feels very boring to do all of the research for Israel-Palestine, for January 6th, for tax policy, for foreign policy, for basically anything. And then every single person I debate is basically always going to be like the same 3 or 4 headline talking points. This is very boring. And it's like, and it's not like this is just like my corner of the internet or my area of the internet or my level of penetration in the media. Like this is just the mainstream conversations are all very, very, very surface level, which I think is very frustrating. You previously said making personal things public protected you and the audience felt that was weird. Why do you no longer feel that way? No, I mean, that's still true. But it's less of like a strategy thing and more just like I just don't have much personally. I've cut out, I think this year I probably cut out a lot of people from my life that I felt were dramatic. I just stopped talking to them or stopped responding to them or don't have them anymore. So I've had fewer like friends this year that I think I'm close with, but then I've branched out more towards other types of content creator people that I'm friendly-ish with, I guess. Yeah. What is the situation on the Jan 6 video? Can you talk about it? So one thing I'm changing coming forward is I'm never announcing a project ever again. I'll just drop something when it's done because I realize the folly in ever saying something is in the works because People's disappointment is usually measured between the expectation and the reality of a thing. I handed that project over completely to another group of editors, I think like a month and a half ago. I have no control over it. It's not, I can't literally do or say, there's no way that I can accelerate or do anything for it. It's completely and totally out of my hands, and it has been, so there's nothing I can do. But I think going forward, I'm just never announcing a project until I'm basically ready to drop it, because it's not worth it. Was there ever a deadline set? No, I've never, I don't even do prepared content, so no. But people assume that it will come out before a certain time or whatever. It's not, but it is what it is. Generating all the fuss with the fireman comment was a good way to intermingle sort of drama and proper conversations. Yeah, a little bit. The media environment, like I've retroactively analyzed both like the mainstream media environment and then kind of like the alternative media environment that I exist in. And even the alternative media environment is poisoned in a lot of ways. And it's just difficult to figure out like how I want to, I guess, like fight or exist in that environment. Like some of it goes back to doing like a first principles thing and like figuring out like, well, what do I want my role to be, or what are like the primary things that I want to do? Like I still don't know, like, so for instance, like the Hassan stuff is challenging when there are large content creators who like professionally lie about me consistently. Like the way to fight back is generally you have to fight for narrative control, which means you have to do your own responses and you've got to do your own content countering it. But then you end up in a weird world where now you're like it's just not very, like, it's like fun, like on a very base level of like, oh, time to Hassan hate watch. But then in another way, it's like, okay, well, let's see, it's going to be the 450 millionth time of Hassan calling me a pedophile or Hassan calling me whatever. And it's like, this is so like boring and stupid. I guess in a way it's I've said this a lot, but it's good that Hassan ended up breaking up with Ethan the way that he did. So at least people can say that, or see that he plays out like that exact same pattern with Ethan that he did with me, and that he literally lies about every single thing that Ethan said or did. But he's just got like but it's I guess it's just very irritating for me to navigate in a media environment where it's more like, how do you do, it's all the things that people accuse me of, right? Like, oh, this guy's just rhetoric. He doesn't actually debate. Like, that's like what everybody else does legitimately. Like, what is the most bad faith summary I can give of this person? And then how can I straw man or stereotype them and then never review their content, but then offhandedly mention them? I guess it's just an annoying thing to have to work to overcome, like over and over and over and over and over again. It's just very irritating. But on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you feel stress-wise this year? Has it been less or more stressful than previous years in regards to election coverage and build up to it all? I mean, obviously over the past couple of months, some things have been incredibly stressful. Other things are just not as much, I guess. The stress is not being expended in areas that I feel like is very fruitful. And then there's a lot of stress being spent in areas that are not very like meaningful, in terms of like people just like coming after like weird personal shit or trying to do whatever dumb shit there. It's like, it's not relevant to my online stuff, and I don't have any, there's no advantage to be gained in terms of like producing content about it or talking about it or whatever. And then for debate related stuff, the environment is just not very challenging, I guess. It sounds like very, I'm on my hubris arc again too. Fuck that. My humble arc, fuck that. It sounds really shitty, but I truly do think I'm probably one of the best. I'm not even talking myself. I'm always shitting in the environment. I'm probably one of the best like debate people on my, like in the political realm, like I would say in the world, on a lot of this stuff. And that's not just because I'm like so fucking smart and can deal so much with it. It's just because I'm just willing to like read shit, like very basic shit. And I feel like that was like a big goal for me. But now when it's like, okay, well, the way to be the best debater in the world on a topic is to read like a 4-page complaint or to read like a 2-page news article. And now you have more information than basically every pundit on it. It just feels like very, very, very stupid. It feels very dumb, I guess. But whatever. Yeah, I feel like I have to, I need to figure out how to push that matter more. But the engaging with the media environment as it is and kind of understanding that environment, I think has helped kind of understand why things are a lot, Destiny, how did you handle no meds ADHD for so long, and any other tips for others who are in the same situation you once were, other than the obvious immediate answer? I just play a lot of games. What do you mean? Just do stuff to keep yourself busy? What are your goals moving forward? Where do you want to be this time next year? So one thing, I had a meeting with a friend a few days ago in terms of trying to figure out, I guess, like what I need to do or how I want to change my approach to things. I need to identify content that is more unifying, and then I need to try to stay away from things that are more divisive for people on my side. Now, the problem is there are pros and cons to that approach, and the cons to that are very annoying. Such that like, so for things like healthcare stuff or housing stuff, where I know that like even my audience is going to be irritated about it, like I can minimize or I can carefully approach how I talk about that stuff. The only issue is if I take that approach for too long, rather than having these like small fights in my community, there will be like a violent reckoning in the future when an issue comes up that I have to take a side on, and then my audience will kind of be like mind fucked into thinking that I'm further in one direction than I actually am. So I'm trying to handle those situations a bit more delicately. Destiny, maybe instead of never announcing a project, why don't you actually follow through on your projects and make complete things on a timely matter? Sorry, don't buy that you have no control over how quickly the project got finished. You know this wouldn't fly at work. I can't tell my boss, yeah, we are a month late on this project, but it's because the people working under me are taking too long. Nothing I can do. I would get fired. Take responsibility. I can go that direction of doing prepared content, and I have considered this. That would just mean I stop streaming, though, or I stream like 2 days a week. There is nobody on the internet that does like prepared content and streams full time and does podcasts and travels for shows and does debates, and like nobody else does. Like I'm doing a lot of jobs right now. Another reason why, or another thing I was going to say too, is I'm going to try to tighten up. So like last year and maybe the year before that was that like, I think in a positive way, I think I expanded a lot of the content that I did, but I think that the content expansion has gotten a little bit too much. And I think this year I'm going to try to, I think I'm going to try to tighten up my focus on things more. So I want to integrate like bridges more into my stream related stuff and kind of like cut away like some excessive on the outside stuff. I'm not sure, but like it feels like right now there are things that I'm doing that, like for bridges, for instance, like I think there are people that don't even know that I have that show, which has been a decent investment in time, and I've gotten like really good conversations about it. Like I appreciate that. And then same thing with like some of the shows that I've been on and everything. Like, yeah, I think I need to tighten up my focus a little bit. So I'll probably be doing that. How do you balance content you enjoy versus content you feel you need to make, like misinfo, etc.? At this point in my life, there's still like a billion things that I enjoy doing that people also enjoy watching. So I've never hit a point where I feel like, I need to do something I don't want to do. There's still a ton of stuff that I want to do. Yeah. On that point, do you think that the other side will be as charitable to you as you are to them? That's the issue. They will still shut on you. I feel like, no, I'll never get charitability in this arena. But the reason why is because nobody gets charitability, because that's not the goal. I think it's really important to identify why people watch things and what's going on. Like I've been talking about the emotivism take a lot, but like I think it's important to understand why people are engaging with certain media and then to engage with it in a way that I understand why other people are engaging with it in the other way. I don't know if that makes sense. So like if I'm watching something and I'm pointing out misinformation, I'm doing this because my audience cares about it and I care about it and I want other people to care about it. But we can't be under the illusion that the other side is watching it, trying to gather true information. They're just trying to reinforce like the social narratives they have. And then sometimes they'll wear the aesthetic of fact or information or whatever, but it's not like the thing that they're truly geared after. It just gives me an understanding of how to navigate the environment, basically. Would you say anything else has been your biggest success this year? Having that studio built and shooting content out of it, I think it's been very, very, very good. There's still stuff that, like I said, I want to tighten up on. So figuring out how, I guess, exactly I want anything else to go, although that's been running pretty well. Like I said, I need to draw bridges more into my content and make it more a little bit in line rather than like standing as a totally like outside project, I guess. Would you say December content has been doomer? How happy are you with the content on YouTube? December was a pretty doomer month, not necessarily because of the election, but because of what the election, I guess, like stood for. Like that's kind of, it's annoying that that style of media and I guess like misinformation has kind of been validated. So that's just like a thing, another thing to keep in mind or to fight against, I guess. Happy with your content on YouTube. I spoke with August quite a bit. I think I said for a while, I think last month or the month before, that I was like reorganizing all my business stuff. I've done that to a great degree. That's been incredibly helpful for me to sort things out. I think I have a really good short form content network, and I'm slowly expanding that out to include like my Instagram will be a part of that soon. Same thing with probably a more official TikTok account, and then having that Destiny Shorts channel now running on YouTube more. Like that'll all be rolling out pretty soon. Why don't you extend an olive branch to Kalinsky? I kind of am working on that. I'm trying to build one thing that I realize that I fucking hate, but I think it's just a human thing. Is building out friendships. I think is really important. So like when I go to New York, I'm trying to like have a dinner with Adam and Nick in a couple days, just like having positive relations with people, just because I think that's probably the best way to get them to give you a better treatment online. Although again, pros and cons, that's going to set up a potential disaster bridge burning in the future, depending on how their fans, branch out. But is Tiny vs. Tiny your channel? I see a lot of that on my TikTok feed. No, Tiny vs. Tiny is an anti-fan channel. Gonna glaze you a little here. I really think your insistence on doing all your various studio AV work yourself instead of hiring out was a great call. Everything looks and sounds great. Yeah, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with that. And it was fun. I enjoyed doing all the digging through shit. It's fun for me, I guess. Like I said, the only thing I want to work out with the studio now, and I guess I'll do this over time, is the like the aesthetic, like how things look. Like I think a cuter set would be nice, but we have a lot of there's a lot of content this month coming up in New York, like flying up there to interview people. I don't know how much Pisco has announced for that, but I think I go to New York tomorrow night for that. I'm trying to shepherd more people to the calendar. I have like too many different people that are looking at too many different places for things. I have too much shit that I end up working too late on things sometimes though. And then I wake up late and then I have to do my emails and DMs, and there's sometimes phone calls and shit I have to make for like a lot of random shit. I need to find a person, a third wife, a fourth wife. I'm just kidding. Do you want your content to be less social media / react oriented in the future? I feel like you could be forging your own original path more. Your biggest strong points historically have usually been going your own way. I don't like the idea of just, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of just like reporting the news. I just don't feel like, I'm just not as interested in that. Oh, this is not worthwhile. Of just like reporting the news. I just don't have as big of an interest in that. As far as your debate content is concerned, would you say you're aiming to generate less contentious, more informative interactions, despite the fact that they aren't as sensational? I couldn't figure this out. I had a friend, she does like business consultation or whatever, that I went over a lot of this stuff for like several hours a few days ago with. The issue that I run into, there's like two sides to how I approach debating people. I think one issue is like, so I'm very flexible in terms of appeal, in that I can go on a wide variety of platforms with a wide variety of people. That's a strength. I can also be incredibly like empathetic and understanding. Like I think I'm probably the best person when it comes to steel manning other people's arguments and explaining their perspectives. But I think I'm also good at being incredibly antagonistic, like tearing somebody down or attacking somebody. So like the two extremes of this would be, if you look at like my Ben Shapiro debate, I think it was me making a really big effort to kind of like reach across the aisle, and my Owen Schroyer debate was me trying to destroy somebody, right? These are like two, I think I excel really well in both of these things, but I would say they're oriented in very different directions in terms of like the things I'm trying to build. I guess the challenge is figuring out, like, I don't want to, like, if I feel like I'm making progress with somebody, I think the analogy that I used was like, if I feel like I'm making progress with somebody, it feels like sometimes my empathetic debates are me walking in this direction, like 5 miles per hour. This would be a very fast walk, but let's just assume I'm taking somebody in this direction, like 5 miles per hour. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, and we're making progress. Like, we're doing good. Like, this is cool. This is good. But like, we're on a bus that's going this direction, like 60 miles per hour. And it's like, okay, well, I feel like now I feel like we're not doing anything. Yeah, this is challenging. Wouldn't the answer be in the middle then, just being more dynamic? I just don't know. I don't know what the answer is here in terms of how I want to, relate to people. Like if I think of like a conservative doesn't want to talk to me because they know I'm going to be too aggressive, obviously I would say that's probably not good. But then like if I go and I talk to Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Candace Owens for 2 hours and I'm not very aggressive, I feel like I don't know if that's good. And I don't know which one I prefer there. Like, would I rather just be like bombing these people from a distance, like pointing out how dog shit the content is or how bad the factual reporting is and all of the inaccuracies? Or would I rather have access to the audience to like very subtly bring people over, even though I'm not like moving them as much as I would want to? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. Can you give pushback without being aggressive? I don't think it's possible. I think that anytime you push in a certain area, I think people are always going to be prickly and they're going to push back really hard. And then in order to make progress there, I think you have to be like very confrontational. Not confrontational in a screaming sort of way, but in like a, hey, I need you to acknowledge this sort of way. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah, fuck, I don't know. I'll think about this more. This is like something I'm like actively iterating on and thinking on. At Destiny, you should check out Mehdi Hassan debates. He doesn't cuck his beliefs, but he's not aggressive in a rude way either. I don't know if I would agree with you there. I feel like Mehdi Hassan has a reputation for being incredibly aggressive. I think he has a, yeah, very, 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 very aggressive demeanor, and I think he's known for that. If conservatives can spew their BS in a non-confrontational, soft-spoken way and persuade people, why can't you? Because I think conservatives, like, they literally control the entire media landscape right now, and it's very frustrating and it's very challenging to, navigate that. Part of what I want to do for this, we might do this today, is I think I really want to make a survey of my audience, and I need to find out, like, where did most people come from? Because I'm actually not, my friend posed this question to me, and I don't know the answer. Are the people that I'm grabbing, like the new fans that I'm getting, are they people who are, am I like going out into the world and finding people who kind of enjoy what I do and are aligning with me there? Or am I converting people on the edges of other people's content away to me more? I know that I do that I know that the answer is true in both cases, but I don't know like the percentages. Like it might be the case that like 95% of my not friends. Yeah, we're all friends. 95% of my fans are like conservative converts, in which case maybe having the gentler conversations is worth it. It might be the case that 95% of my fans are people who are like, oh God, like I found your content. Like I've gotten emails from both groups of people, so it's hard to say, but we'll design the survey today. We need to do this, yeah.